the rarest women in the world. Genetic rarity: some women are biologically unique due to rare genetic conditions. For instance, women with chimerism have two sets of DNA, which occurs when two embryos fuse early in development. Similarly, women with heterochromia, different colored eyes, or other genetic traits like supertasting, enhanced taste perception are incredibly rare. Cultural rarity: certain cultures or tribes have very few women with specific traditional roles. For example, the Mosuo women of China live in a matriarchal society where women hold primary roles in the family, and the last female tattoo artists of the Kalinga tribe in the Philippines preserve a dying art form known as batak. Physical abilities: some women possess rare physical abilities. For example, hyperpolyglots, people who fluently speak 10 languages, are exceedingly rare, as are women freedivers who dive extraordinary depths without breathing equipment, like the legendary Japanese Ama divers. Occupational rarity: some professions have very few women due to historical or societal factors. Female samurai onabugujisha in feudal Japan were warrior women trained in combat. In contemporary settings, women who become fighter pilots or venture into deep-sea welding are also extraordinarily uncommon. Social and historical impact: rare women are also those whose lives are marked by groundbreaking achievements against great odds, such as Marie Curie, the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. In history, figures like Hatshepsut, one of the few female pharaohs of Egypt, exemplify rare leadership roles for women. Another rare genetic phenomenon that occurs more frequently in women than men is supertasting. Supertasters have a heightened sensitivity to certain flavors, particularly bitter and sweet ones, due to an increased number of taste buds on their tongues. This condition is controlled by genetic factors that determine how many taste buds a person has and how they perceive flavors. Women who are supertasters may find certain vegetables, like Brussels sprouts or broccoli, unbearably bitter or experience an intense sweetness from sugary foods. Supertasting is not just a curiosity, but influences dietary habits, flavor preferences, and even a woman's health, as supertasters may avoid certain healthy foods due to their intense flavor perceptions. This heightened taste perception is rarer among the general population, but has drawn attention for its possible links to health risks and benefits. In addition, some women possess unusual genetic mutations that result in enhanced physical traits. For example, some women carry mutations that allow for extraordinary flexibility, such as those with hypermobility syndrome, where the connective tissues are more elastic than average. This rare trait can be both an asset and a hindrance, as it may allow these women to excel in activities requiring flexibility, such as gymnastics or dance, but may also lead to joint pain or other complications later in life. This genetic predisposition for hypermobility can be passed down through families, and women with this condition often report both exceptional abilities and unique challenges that come with their condition. In some parts of the world, certain groups of women lead lives that are culturally distinct, governed by long-standing traditions or rare societal roles that make them unique on a global scale. One notable example is the Mosuo women of China, who live in a matriarchal society where lineage, property, and family structure are centered around women rather than men. Located in the remote regions of Yunnan and Sichuan, the Mosuo people maintain a practice known as walking marriages, where romantic relationships are informal and non-binding. In this setup, Mosuo women invite men to visit their homes in the evening, but these men return to their own families each morning, preserving a structure where women hold primary responsibility for the household, children, and inheritance. In the Philippines, a small group of women are keeping alive a nearly extinct cultural tradition of tattooing known as batak. These women, often from the Kalinga tribe, are among the last practitioners of this ancient art form, which involves hand-tapping ink into the skin using thorn needles and other natural materials. Batak is more than just body art. It symbolizes strength, protection, and rites of passage, especially in Kalinga society where tattoos were once used to signify warriors and milestones in life. The tradition has mostly faded, with only a few elderly women skilled in the art remaining. Similarly, in India, the Bishnoi women of Rajasthan hold to a set of beliefs and practices that make them remarkable stewards of the environment. The Bishnoi community, known for its commitment to nature and animal protection, has strict rules against harming trees and animals. Bishnoi women are particularly known for their role in rescuing and nurturing orphaned blackbuck fawns, an endangered species native to the region. The story of their protection dates back to the 18th century, when a Bishnoi woman named Amrita Devi famously sacrificed her life, along with her daughters, to prevent trees from being cut down by royal soldiers. In Kenya, another rare group of women have formed their own village, known as Umoja, where only women and children are allowed. Umoja was founded in the early 1990s by Rebecca Lolosoli, a Samburu woman, as a refuge for women escaping gender-based violence. forced marriage, and other forms of abuse. In the village, women are able to live independently, earn an income, and support their children without male intervention or the societal restrictions typically imposed on them in traditional Samburu culture. Certain women around the world possess rare physical abilities that set them apart from others, whether through genetic advantage, rigorous training, or extraordinary resilience. These women often achieve feats that challenge the limits of human capacity, making them remarkable in their physicality and in the realms where they excel. One example of rare physical abilities can be seen in women with hypermobility syndrome, a condition that enables unusual flexibility due to the increased elasticity in their connective tissues. Another group of women who demonstrate rare physical abilities are freedivers, who dive deep underwater without the aid of breathing equipment. Freediving requires the ability to hold one's breath for extended periods while managing intense underwater pressure, and women such as the AMA divers of Japan are famous for their prowess in this demanding activity. AMA, meaning sea women, have traditionally dived to harvest shellfish, seaweed, and pearls for over 1,000 years, reaching depths of up to 30 meters while holding their breath for up to 2 minutes at a time. A similarly rare physical ability is that of ultramarathon running, where women endure incredible distances, sometimes surpassing 100 miles in a single race. Ultramarathons demand endurance far beyond that of typical marathon distances, with athletes often facing extreme terrain, weather conditions, and the mental strain of continuous running for hours or even days. Women such as Courtney Dauwalter have made headlines for their achievements in this field, often outperforming male competitors in races that require both mental resilience and physical stamina. A further example of rare physical ability in women is the phenomenon of hyperpolyglots, who also possess remarkable memory retention and mental endurance. Although linguistic ability is primarily cognitive, learning and maintaining fluency in over 10 languages is often a feat of physical endurance requiring vocal adaptability, memory resilience, and sustained effort. Hyperpolyglots like Kato Lam, one of the first simultaneous interpreters in the world, managed to speak numerous languages with fluency and work through long hours of interpretation, a task that is both physically and mentally draining. Throughout history and in contemporary society, some women occupy roles that are rare, whether due to societal constraints, historical limitations, or the demanding nature of certain occupations. These women often break significant barriers, venturing into professions traditionally dominated by men or roles that are physically, mentally, or culturally demanding. One historical example of occupational rarity among women is that of the onabujisha, or female samurai, in feudal Japan. Unlike the well-known samurai warriors, who were predominantly male, onabujisha were women trained in martial arts and warfare to protect their families and communities in times of conflict. In the modern era, one of the rarest and most challenging professions for women has been that of a fighter pilot. For decades, military aviation was an arena where few women were permitted to participate, given the rigorous physical requirements and long-standing gender biases. Becoming a fighter pilot demands exceptional physical fitness, intense mental focus, and the ability to perform under high-stress conditions, particularly at extreme speeds and altitudes, where forces of gravity exert severe pressure on the body. Despite these challenges, pioneering women like Major General Jeannie Leavitt, the first female fighter pilot in the United States Air Force, broke these barriers, leading the way for others to follow. Another rare occupation among women is deep-sea welding, a job that requires technical skill, physical endurance, and a willingness to work in one of the most dangerous environments on Earth. Deep-sea welders repair and maintain underwater structures, such as pipelines, oil rigs, and ships, in conditions that include limited visibility, extreme pressure, and the constant risk of encountering marine life. The job involves diving deep below the surface, often requiring the use of mixed gas systems to allow welders to breathe while submerged. Traditionally, deep-sea welding has been dominated by men due to the physical demands and high-risk nature of the work, but in recent years, a few determined women have pursued careers in this field, demonstrating their capability to handle the same dangers and demands as their male counterparts. In the field of science, women have also historically faced occupational rarity in areas like astrophysics and space exploration, particularly in astronaut roles. For decades, space agencies predominantly selected male astronauts, limiting women's access to the field of space exploration. However, women like Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman to fly in space, and Sally Ride, the first American woman in space, opened doors for future generations of female astronauts. Women who have made a social and historical impact through their roles in society, whether as leaders, activists, scientists, artists, or pioneers, have often influenced profound changes that reshaped entire fields and cultures. These women frequently broke societal barriers, challenged long-standing norms, and inspired movements that shifted the landscape of human rights, science, education, and the arts. One powerful example is Marie Curie, the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and the only person to win in two different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. Similarly, Rosa Parks' decision to refuse to give up her seat on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama, became a catalyst for the civil rights movement in the United States. Parks' quiet but resolute act of defiance against racial injustice led to the Montgomery bus boycott, a pivotal event that spurred widespread activism and ultimately led to the desegregation of public buses in the South. Her actions and the broader impact of the boycott helped raise national awareness of racial discrimination and fueled the growing civil rights movement led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr. Parks, often referred to as the mother of the civil rights movement, became an enduring symbol of the power of individual action against injustice. In the arts, Frida Kahlo used her unique perspective and artistic talent to challenge norms and explore themes of identity, gender, and post-colonial issues. Kahlo's deeply personal and often surreal works portrayed her experiences with physical pain, disability, and complex identity as a Mexican woman with mixed heritage. Through her art, Kahlo addressed issues that were often considered taboo, creating a body of work that resonated with people across cultural and social boundaries. Another example of a woman whose impact has echoed through time is Malala Yousafzai, who as a young girl spoke out for girls' right to education in Pakistan, where the Taliban had enforced severe restrictions on women's access to schooling. Malala's advocacy put her at great personal risk, leading to an assassination attempt by the Taliban in 2012. Surviving the attack only strengthened her resolve, and she became a global advocate for education, eventually becoming the youngest Nobel Prize laureate. Malala's work has drawn international attention to the issue of girls' education and has spurred policy changes in several countries, making her a symbol of resistance against oppression and a beacon of hope for millions of girls around the world.